financial institution has the four type of the appraisal. First is the technical appraisal. Here, that means the technical appraisal has also to be seen by the lawyers, because all the operational risk and or the counter claim bill comes from this technical aspect. Second thing is the appraisal of the creditworthiness of the borrowers and the security available. This is to be also be seen. Third and very important point, which is normally whatever I perceive as a work of the law department, that is the documentation and the renewal of the documentation. So basically I can say that in the very short time, our learned speaker has given the whole idea of the legal risk containing all the aspects, that is the technical, financial, creditworthiness of the party, the past practices of the financial institution, same type of the industry if there is any problem. So if we all consider all these risks, then I think we can have to have, as a lawyers, have to consider the whole appraisal report, all the documents, and we have to analyze, and we have to take the report and opinion from the financial expert, from the outside body regarding the search report also, and we have to see the history also. So all work comes to the law table, only then we can manage legal risk, so that the money of the financial institution, that is the public money, can be safeguarded. Any questions you can ask from Guptaji regarding this, or
any support, comments?
Any comment, sir?
See, basically, this is an area where our institutions have failed. And the classical example is the case of IFCI. Some of you who may be aware about it. Not the professionals involved in these institutions, they don't take care. But if you don't apply your professional skills, or if you see, one of the areas of concern in the earlier, I would call it in the regime of 70s and 80s, license Raj and the rampant corruption. You as an individual, if you go there, if you want to put up a project, you will not get funds. This was the reality. You could get over those funds, projects cleared, only when you have your godfather. Therefore, I don't want to go deep into it. But if that was the situation, if that exists, unless that is rectified in the first instance, I think that throws open the entire institution into the biggest risk ever that it can face. Now the world has changed, but if we are able to fully eradicate that issue, because still in the analysis of the financial wizards, still India is reeling under corruption. I think the true test, if this economy has to emerge and become successful, because we are seen as an emerging economies, particularly India and China. And therefore, I think our government is doing a lot of work on this, how to eradicate this. But again, it's not the job of the government alone. Let's understand, you and me, our value system, I think that is what is going to take us across. At the end of the day, don't blame the government, don't blame the regulators. Who are the people Who are we to blame them? I think these value systems should come into our society, and that can maximum. See, theory, you can go on talking documentation, this thing. I'm not criticizing anything. What I'm trying to say is we have to have a transformation in change in value culture. I think if that happens, nothing like that. I think that can mitigate a lot of this. That's what.
That is there in every field of life, because
That's
if
true. There's a generalization
we
of
want to be transparent, we want to compete with the world, this problem has to be eradicated from all levels of our
You know,
public
I know
life.
cases, real cases I'm talking about. That's why I express this. Put 10 rupees as equity, take 20 as loan, assuming equity debt ratio is 2:1. Siphon off the blood and flesh, leave the skeleton. That was the era that was existing. I think I'm reminding of those days only.
The amounts are too huge.
Yes.
1,000 crores, 2,000
Therefore, I'm not
crores.
pinpointing to a particular institution. I'm aware of those things. This is how the industry was being operated in the yesteryears. It's very easy. Put 10 rupees, take 20 rupees, siphon off the whole money, leave the skeleton. And the company will be declared insolvent. That's it. And where did the investor go? I think that's a larger issue. Yes, Chairman, sir.
We will like to know about something from outside India also. What type of the legal risk they perceive?
I wanted to ask a question about India first, and it has to do with political insurance
Yeah.
risk. And my understanding has always been in India that it's against public policy to get a political risk insurance policy. So as the Indian financial institutions become more internationalized, I'm wondering if anybody has any ideas about how they might be able to use that internationalization to mitigate some political risk in face of this kind of concept that it's against public policy. Do you have any, I mean, I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that, but I wondered if any of you have any thoughts on how they might work that.
Reasons for the nationalization.
Sorry?
I will respond to it.
Okay.
I believe no insurance company or institution is giving any insurance policy about the political risk in the country as yet. I think I don't have any idea because
Many parts of the world also
similarly, many parts of the world political risks are not covered, though it is a very big risk. You may see what is happening these days. The political equations and everything is changing so fast. Nobody knows what happens. So for large financial institutions, this is a very big problem. I have also discussed it in my paper that insurance policies are not covering all these issues. And for the insurance companies, if I see from their angle, there will be a very big problem for them also. I believe that is the reason they have not come out with any solution of such type of political risks.
Though at present the political risk is very minimal because all parties are following the same policies of the liberalization and the globalization.
There's one very important point that he is raising. I come from Chennai, Madras, and there sometimes, well, generally what you say is true. Sometimes if the previous party in power, there were two parties, the AIDMK and the DMK, if there's a nice project which they feel that the previous party has been responsible for granting it to you, they act as a stumbling block in the next one, the next group. And many projects have been affected by this.
Precisely, the latest issue is the Reliance taking away the shops from UP. I think that's a classical case. Because it's a political battle, go on like Mulayam fell down, Mayawati case. And therefore he moved out. Yesterday I was reading an article, Reliance is coming back in a different format now. He has to do business, he has to remain in the business.
No, it's not a question of reliance, it's a question of the
No,
policy.
I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Not the particular individual.
It happens, in many states it's been affected,
No,
if you take it.
there is a effect, but this is not very much at present.
No, it is
because
there, no, it is there,
because
it's not
except-
so obvious
Well,
as our friend mentioned in the 70s and 80s. It is not as obvious as that when the license asked for that. Now it's a much different scenario, but still it is there.
Because
Still-
only land and sale tax, etc. These
Land
are
is
the
a big
issues with the
issue.
state government.
No, land is a
Otherwise,
very big issue, isn't it? I mean, if you're able to get land, then along with the land, you get so many other things.
so only there is a problem in the land. Otherwise, 90% issues are with the central government. And whether we have seen from the last 15 years, three parties were in the
Settle.
all the party. First is the combination of the one group, then there was a combination of another group. Now the combination is with the which is having a third group. So basically, in the last three elections, all the political parties have.
Some places in Africa, right, Bangladesh, companies they have no interest in offering the product because the premium would be about equal to the payout amount, you know. But I mean, India does have stability. India is a market where political risk insurance would be economically viable because it is a democracy, because there's so much stability.
True.
But yet, I mean, I think it's for legal reasons why financial institutions aren't allowed to obtain the policies here in India. And that's why the insurance companies aren't
This
offering
may
them.
otherwise be sensitive to them because still there are three large insurance companies which are under government control.
Yeah.
Maybe with more liberalization in the insurance sector, this may come up.
Practically it's four,
Yeah.
but they call it one, GIC.
Yeah. That may be the reason. Because it could be a very sensitive because then the insurance company have to decide their premium and all on the risk factors. And judging the risk will then again be associated with the political climate of the country. That could be an index which may go against the ruling party.
Right.
It may be a sensitive issue.
However, in the last few years, the recovery ratio, that is here, if there is any defaulter, we call it as NPA. It has gone down non-performing assets. Basically, at present, for most of the banks and the financial institutions are performing up to the level of the 99% in the recovery of their loans. There is no bad loans in these days. That is the old loan. Basically, that was a era of socialist country, as a socialist country, when we were following a path. At that time, nobody was coming for the entrepreneurship. So the government want to encourage the entrepreneurs, anybody who is ready to start industry. So at that time, they were giving free hand, and there was no demand and no technology was available properly. At that time, funds were stuck up, sometimes with the bad intentions, sometimes because of these political reasons, sometimes because of the factors which are uncontrollable. But present day, the recovery law are very strict. At that time, everybody, before taking loan, they are thinking, before signing any agreement, every company is thinking, taking legal advice from the various lawyers, taking financial advice from the chartered accountant, and even after getting sanction of the loans,
Thinking twice before taking.
before taking at the real research, they are thinking twice. They cannot,
Escape.
unless they are very sure of the return. If they have any risk, they are not going to take, particularly before taking the loans. This scenario has been changed in the last 10 years. Even then, these are the legal risks. If I think, though I am law graduate, but I am practicing as a chartered accountant, I come to know today only that the legal risk covers basically the all technical, financial, accounting, everything.